12:30 session features the student athletes of the University of Kansas Jayhawks. Devontae Graham, Malik Newman are with us. Kansas is the #1 seed here. They are the regular season and tournament champions of the Big 12 Conference. They advanced here from Wichita, where they defeated Penn and Seton Hall. They'll play #5 Clemson in tomorrow night's first game at 6:09. The men's basketball contact is Chris Thiessen. We'll see head coach Bill Self after these gentlemen leave the dais. We will go right to questions for a 15-minute session. First one's here.
Hey, Devontae, Luke Teacock from the News and Observer in Raleigh. Just curious, you had obviously a very long path to Kansas in getting here. At what point in your career did you really start to believe that you were the kind of player that you've become now?
I think it started probably once I got to Brewster, and I think a lot of my confidence had went up, and Coach Self believing in me once I got here at Kansas, probably towards the end of my freshman year, is when I really started to believe that I could do something special here at Kansas, and him and the coaching staff just believing in me and the guys that I was around at the time when I came in, and really just helped me become the player I am today.
For both of you guys, what's the toughest thing matching up with Clemson that you've seen on film?
Malik, you go first, please.
They have three terrific guards. They can go get their own shot. They play good off one another. So we just have to do a good job of containing those guards. And they have a really good big in Elijah Thompson. That he can pass, he can score on the block. So we just have to try to limit transition and just try to keep those three guards contained.
Just what he said, it's a lot to do with their guards, kind of like us, and so we just gotta contain them, try to keep them out the paint, make them take tough contested jumpers, and keep them off the glass and out of transition.
Jacob Albrock, KWCH. Devontae, you tweeted during K-State's game that you were sort of pulling for him. The Big 12's well represented. Do you guys take any time to sort of root for conference affiliation, or more specifically K-State? It's a rival most of the time, but you got a weird chance to watch them play tonight too. How does that work for you guys?
I'm gonna definitely watch the game. Probably root for them. I just want to see the Big 12 do good, like I said. And unless we're playing against them, so. If they're on TV and in the Sweet 16, you definitely root for them because we compete against them all year. So, it's kind of like a brotherhood at the end of the day.
Down here on the left, gentlemen.
Anderson, CBS 17 in Raleigh. Devontae, you're a fourth-year senior, which in this day and age is a rarity. And I wonder if you're taking the time maybe to look around and kind of smell the roses. It's been a great career for you, and maybe take this in maybe a little bit more so than you might have in years past?
Definitely. I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. Coach talked to us the other day. We want to keep being together as long as we can. Have 3 or 4 more film sessions and keep practicing and keep traveling. So just trying to take it one day at a time and enjoy the guys because I know it's coming. It's going to end soon. So just trying to enjoy each moment, each day.
Right there on the aisle. Thank you.
David Lawrence, Jayhawk Radio. Devontae, can you talk about now that LeGerald and Malik are playing at such a high level, how does that change your thinking actually during a game, knowing the confidence that you have on both those guys and what they can do?
They've been playing unbelievable, so it just makes it easier for me, and it makes me look good when I get to pass it to them and they knocking down shots and I get to rack up assists. So, I just look for them, especially when they're hot, and just got a lot of confidence that they'll knock down shots or make the right plays and just being aggressive.
Chris
Chris Lazarin, Kansas alumni. Devontae, how's Udoka looking this week?
He's been looking great. He's trying to get back in shape. He's been doing a good job of staying out on the floor, and his knee looks great, and he looks more explosive than he did last game. So he's definitely going up.
Malik, throughout the year you would talk to us about, it's about confidence, being aggressive, but what else has made a difference in changing your game around from the days where, there were some inconsistencies and you were struggling a little bit in shooting the ball? What's really been some more of the things that have been going on the outside that has affected you and helped you?
Besides me just, like I said earlier this week, besides me just doing some soul searching and things, my teammates, they just kept confidence in me. The coaching staff did, and they played a real big part of it because, like you said, when I was inconsistent, those guys like Devontae, Legere, Fee, those guys, they were still coming to me, telling me, hey, you got to play, you got to go score, you got to be aggressive. So, just those guys keeping faith in me, keeping confidence in me. It just gave me some extra confidence in myself, and I was just able to find myself at a nice time right before the Big 12 tournament started, and I just haven't looked back since.
Devontae, last week Coach Self was asked how he keeps it fresh with a team that constantly wins the conference and is always in the tournament, how he keeps it fresh. And he pointed out that there's not a ton of tournament experience on the team right now with in terms of the players who are getting a lot of playing time. Could you just address what the team's perspective is on terms of getting some of the guys like Malik in and being comfortable playing in the tournament?
I don't know. I don't know how he get comfortable with it, but I'm pretty comfortable with it, and Coach got a ton of experience. So the guys who haven't been here before, you could just see the excitement on their face just being here. It's growing up. It's our dream to come and play in these games, and once you're living in the moment, you just gotta. It's a reality check. You're just happy that you're here and anxious to play, and so you want to do everything you can for your team to win, and we just happy to be here as a team, and Coach he just talked to us about just doing the little things to win and staying focused and keeping distractions away.
Lee Barfnick from the Omaha World Herald. Devontae, at this point in the season, after playing 39 or 40 minutes a night, how much does your body scream at you when you go home after a game?
I'm pretty used to it now. I've been doing a lot of recovery more than I have in the past years, and trying to get my rest and drinking a lot of fluids and things like that. But you just got to get your rest and recovery, especially when you're playing as many minutes as I do. So it's all about rest.
We have 5 minutes to go in this session. Next question's right here.
Devontae, could we go back to just talking about rest and recovery? Didn't Frank have some unusual methods for that? Did you pick up any tips for how to recover after games from Frank?
Well, Frank, he liked to get in the cold tub a lot. So, I've been trying to do a little bit of that. I don't really like the cold, so I like to get in the hot tub and roll out and things like that. So I've actually been doing a lot more cold tubbing and massages and things like that.
Anything else for the gentleman from Kansas? Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. You are excused, and best of luck. That way. Head coach Bill Self will be next at 12:45. As advertised, right on time, the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks is here, Bill Self. We're going to ask him to make a statement on his team being here in Omaha, and then we'll go to questions. Bill, please.
Well, we're very excited to be in Omaha. We've been up here a few times over the last decade or so, and certainly enjoyed our time here, and know that we as the other three teams do as well have a tough road to get to San Antonio, and we know it starts out with playing an opponent that's probably as sound and as good defensively as anybody we played all year long. So we know it'll be a tough challenge, but looking forward to it.
First question's on the left.
Alexander, Jonathan Alexander with the News and Observer in Raleigh, North Carolina. For a story we're writing on Devontae, was he on your radar before he got to Brewster Academy?
No, we did not know of Devontae until he got with Jason at Brewster Academy, but we had recruited a number of players out of Brewster prior to him getting there. So obviously that's a school that we recruit, and we became very aware of him after watching Brewster play, but we could not engage in recruiting him because he had not been released from Appalachian State. So whenever he got his release from Appalachian State is when a scholarship became available, and fortunately for us, the timing was right.
Were you surprised that you hadn't seen him prior to that?
No. Now maybe one of our staff has seen him, but you usually don't recruit guys after they sign with another school. So we would have had to have seen him, if I'm not mistaken, before the end of his junior year because he committed to Appalachian State right after that. So no, that happens all the time, unfortunately.
Bill, do you foresee a time when players will be compensated beyond the tuition and the stipend they currently get? And what are your thoughts on just the viability of that?
I don't have the answers. The model needs to change, though. I think everybody would be in agreement with that. There's something that about amateur athletics, I think, that's still very, very positive. And the way the players are taken care of now is so much different than the way they were taken care of, even 10 or 15 years ago. But the reality of it is, it's big business, it's big money, and everybody is looking to make something out of it, and whether it be scouting services or AAU programs, shoe companies, universities. You could look at all areas, and the reason people are in the business is to try to make money, and you can make an honest case that the student athletes obviously are the ones that create the money, but really receive very little of it. So I think there will be an adjustment. I don't know the magnitude of it, but I look forward to seeing some changes, though.
Bill, in December, you called this team the softest that you had coached at Kansas. I'm curious, how much of that did you mean literally? How much was emotion, and how much were you trying to kind of send a message?
Well, probably 100% literally, and a lot of it was probably emotional too, and probably trying to send a message as well. So, the thing about it is we're not a soft team, we're not, but it's one thing. But we haven't been a tough team either. And whenever you're not very big and you're playing four guards and guards have to rebound the ball at a level that a four-man would rebound them and things like that, you could make a case that you look pretty soft. And we still don't do it great, but we're doing it a lot better than what we did earlier in the season. But I still think we have moments where we don't play very tough. But I also think we have some moments where our experience and our toughness definitely shows.
Well, no, the standards are high with you, right, in here. But I mean, now looking back and a body of work, where would this team rank in that area?
I think that when I define tough, I mean, obviously it's mentally tough, a big thing. But tough teams make other teams play bad when you're not playing well. And I don't think that we're great at that. So, I don't know where we'd rank out, but it would probably be closer to the middle of the pack because there's no way that we could be where we're at right now unless the guys were tough playing as small as we played.
Coach K talks a lot about Grayson Allen, who's a four-year senior, and the benefits of having a guy like that on the team. For you to have someone like Devontae, who is essentially a coach on the floor, how big an asset is it to have someone who's so familiar with the program and what it is that you're hoping to accomplish?
Well, I think it's every coach's dream to have somebody on there that can be an extension of you and an extension of the staff, and Devontae's certainly that. It's hard to be a great leader unless you got talent too, and so everybody listens to him. Everybody listens. He has a unique way of getting his message to everybody without talking down to anybody, and it's always we need to do this, and he's learned how to become a better leader since he's been there, but he's also seen some guys, being with Frank and also Landon last year, he's seen what senior leadership was really all about, and he's done it better than anybody we've ever had here. He's a terrific player, but his intangibles is what make him, special, and he certainly has more of those than anybody that I've been around.
Coach, this is the second week in a row you've been able to play close to home. How much of an advantage is that to your team to be able to play in front of your fans like this?
I think it's an advantage. I think Wichita was an advantage for us. I'm not sure it'll be as big as an advantage here as what it was there. At Wichita, if the place seated 16, we had 13. It won't be like that here. But we'll have a great core group of fans here, and hopefully it'll play out to help us. That's one of the benefits of being seated high, is you get an opportunity to possibly play close to home, and I don't think it'll have much to do with the outcome of this weekend, though. I really believe that sometimes playing close to home can actually be a little bit more of a distraction or bring a little bit of pressure, and sometimes playing far away, just us against the world. Let's just get away from everybody and really bond. So I don't know if there's a perfect scenario in what's best this time of year, but I'd rather be close than not close. But I don't think it's a huge deal.
We are halfway through this session. We have 5 questions up. The next 3 will come from this side of the room over here.
Coach, I'm Mark Tracy from the New York Times. I'm writing a piece on the expanding of the coaches box, and I know you got whistled for being outside the coaches box.
Well,
I think
not teed, just warned.
Warned. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I was wondering, just generally, if you were happy about that change made in the first place, and if you felt like this season you had like a little more room to operate.
To be candid with you, I thought it was pretty insignificant change whenever it happened. And I was like going, why is this such a big deal? Why is it so hard to stay in the box? And, I stand a lot, but I also sit probably, 30, 40, 50% of the time. And so I've always struggled when I thought everybody else was coaching out on the floor. I never knew why we needed to do that. And then they extend the box, and I think it's been a great rule change. I think it's been good for me. I think it's been good for all the coaches. You feel like you can actually have a little bit more communication on the other end of the floor. I do think now that they've expanded it, I do think it should be stressed to stay in it without question. And I did get whistled once this year for sticking my toe 2 inches outside the box. But for the most part, I think it's been a positive rule change that hasn't impacted the outcome of games, but it's made it more comfortable for coaches to coach.
Good Big 12 representation in the Sweet 16. K-State specifically, do you guys allow yourselves to root for them at all, or what do you do? Do you watch those K-State games or Big 12 games in general when they're played?
Yes, I would say watch them in general. Now, if we have an opportunity tonight, and I don't even know what time K-State plays, we will positively watch that game. Even if we're watching film, we'll have 2 or 3 TVs on, and so yeah, we'll follow that game. But we'll also try to do it with West Virginia, obviously, and Tech as well. But I'm proud of our league. Our league was terrific. But in order to probably get the recognition that the year deserves from a league, you need to perform well in the tournament, and hopefully, our 4 teams that put themselves in a decent position, but hopefully, you know, we'll play well this weekend to kind of solidify what we already know is that, you know, it's an unbelievable basketball league.
We are under 5 minutes to go. We have 3 questions up. 1, 2, 3.
Bill, for Devontae to play as many minutes as he has all year, and specifically in as good a league as the Big 12 was, you played the game. You've been around it a long time. And could you still kind of scratch your head that he can function physically anymore?
You know, Lee, you know, we played Frank a lot of minutes last year, and a lot of people play a lot of minutes, but a lot of times style dictates why guys can play extended minutes. And we try to play fast. And if you watch us offensively, we have a lot of movement, guys cutting side to side. You got to be a really well-conditioned guy to play as many minutes as he has. But what we tell him is, hey, you're going to go hard twice a week, and we're going to rest you 2 days every week for the most part, and we're going to cut down your reps. And even though our guys would never say that we practice short, we've never practiced an hour and 15 minutes max, you know, from February on like we are now. It's always been a little bit longer than that, and so the guys are getting more rest than what they probably think they're getting. And he specifically, when you talk about with the trainers, the massages, the cold tubs, all the stuff that he does just to get his body feeling good, it doesn't surprise me that he's able to do what he's done.
Bill, what concerns you more matchup-wise with Clemson, the shooting ability of the guards or the way they've defended the last 2 games?
Yes. So I would say, you know, they were probably the most impressive team I felt like in the first weekend. You know, they had a really nice win against New Mexico State, but against Auburn, that was a different level that I think probably anybody played at last weekend. I certainly, for me personally, you know, being a defensive-minded coach first, you know, how do we not allow those guys to have big nights? You know, it's not going to shut down. You're not going to shut them down, and certainly, you know, one guy could, you know, he obviously makes 6 threes or 7 threes or whatever, but you can't allow all 3 of them to have big nights, and that would obviously be a concern, and then offensively, I think that's where probably I'm even more concerned, is because, you know, you're going to have to get the ball to the second and third side. You're not going to be able to attack on the first side against them because they're so sound defensively and their ball screen defense is really good. You got to do some things and have great ball and body movement to force some bad closeouts and things like that, because if it comes down to a late clock situation where it's our player against theirs or theirs against ours, their 3 guards have all shown they can go get their own. And you know, we have a couple of guys that are good at that, but probably not as good as what theirs are. So I think that's real important that we have great ball and body movement.
Well, you've had a couple critical senior point guards the last couple of years. Do you consider how long you're going to have players when you recruit them? Like, do you look at some guys and say, that's a 4-year guy and this is a 2-year guy, and therefore, you know, we would prefer the 4-year guy?
No. We will project how long we think they'll be in school, but I've always been of the opinion, hey, recruit the best guys. You know, recruit the best guys, but knowing that the foundation of your program is going to be your upperclassmen. But there's no way that we would not recruit a guy that we thought would be a one-and-done or a two-and-done kid. You know, if a guy is a two-and-done and he's able to have enough success to leave to go be a first-rounder or whatnot, that's going to help you recruit the next guy too. So I'm under the opinion that with us it changes. It changes. When we recruited Devontae, we thought he'd be a 4-year guy. You know, when we recruited Brandon Rush, we thought he'd be a 1-year guy. And then when we recruited Joel Embiid, I'm not sure we thought he'd be the 3rd pick in the draft. You know, it all varies, but I think having a balance of youth and experience is still the best way to go.
We're under a minute. Last question. Go.
Coach, could you update us on Udoka's status and how he looked in practice this week?
Yeah, he's been fine. He practiced full speed Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll practice today, and unless something unforeseen happens, he'll be starting and be full speed tomorrow.
Take one more. Last one.
Shannon Somerville, Fox Carolina. Coach, I know you spent some time in South Carolina, specifically Spartanburg Day. What were your impressions of the area? And then what were your impressions of Coach Brownell and the job he's done with the Tigers?
Well, if last first, he's done a terrific job. They're so well coached and well drilled, and I don't know Brad well personally, but it seems like just a really good guy that can coach ball and certainly stays in his own lane, and I know he's respected by everybody. But I like the area a lot. I obviously didn't spend enough time in that area to get done what we need to get done, but certainly the little bit I was there, I really liked it.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, thanks.
Good luck.